Hey, good afternoon, y'all. So I've got something that I've kind of want to talk about for a couple days, and I was talking with somebody today in my store about it, and it's really becoming a hot button issue because this is something that literally will make 40 million perfectly lawfully abiding gun owners felons. People who've done nothing wrong, and if they do nothing, even though they still do nothing wrong, will be felons. So what is it we're going to talk about? We are going to talk about this. So this is a pistol brace. Pretty, huh? So this pistol brace was just ruled illegal by the ATF. So they came out with this ruling, and basically as part of the ruling, they're saying, even though they've changed their stance on this a couple of times, that basically those are no longer acceptable as firearms. They see it as a loophole to the short barrel rifle debate. So really what the purpose of the brace is it exists to shoot things in a pistol format. Is it a loophole? Probably. I've seen a whole lot of people use those, not necessarily in the manner intended. Of course, I always do because I follow the law perfectly every single time. Anyways, so the purpose of this thing was originally designed braces for people with disabilities or weakness who wanted to fire weapons that are heavier than they personally would be able to carry. So according to the numbers, there are approximately 40 million of these devices in circulation as we speak. The actual number isn't known because since it's not a serial numbered item, the ATF can't actually track how many of them there are. So there's a ton to unpack when it comes to dealing with this, but basically what they've done is said, okay, this is our final ruling. These are not allowed to be attached to rifles that are not stamped as short barrel rifles, which means you have to fill out a special form, pay them more money, and then as soon as yours gets approved, then you're good to go. So basically what they've done is they've given gun owners 120 days to either fill out the form that changes it into a short barrel rifle, or they basically are saying the other alternative that you have is remove it from your rifle and destroy it, never to be seen or heard from again. So they're basically telling you to take something that you paid money for and destroy it if you don't want to be a felon. So interesting thing here. First off, the problem that I see right out of the gate is so you got 120 days. So they got this window. If I do nothing, if I take that lovely piece of Russian technology that I just showed you and I say, you know what, I just don't want to be involved, and I go put it in my gun safe, I don't ever touch it again for 50 years. If I get that thing out in 50 years and one day, now I'm a felon? Like, I'm a perfectly law-abiding citizen for the most part. So what have I done that would make me a felon? I think there's probably got to be better ways to do this. So kind of one of the things that I'm going to quote this verbatim here because this isn't necessarily, something that I came up with on my own here. ATF also notes that there are legal issues created by removing the brace because this will result in a weapon made from a rifle, which would normally be subject to NFA, which is these laws we're talking about where you have to fill out a form. The rule claims the ATF will use its enforcement discretion to not enforce the NFA against users who remove the brace and reconfigure it as a pistol. For those who choose to remove the brace from their firearm, the ATF also claims it must be altered or destroyed so it cannot be reinstalled. The thing that's interesting here is the ATF actually doesn't have the jurisdiction to do that. So they're creating all these legal problems on top of turning regular gun owners into felons. So a little more information on that too, that none of these things have been regulated in Washington, D.C. I wrote my congressman about it, and he said it's not even something they're debating. So it's not even a discussion. It's just something that is legislation created by the ATF purely for the sake of making a change to something they've already ruled on because they ruled on this subject in 2021 already. Thing that's also weird about this originally comes from Prohibition. This short barrel rifle idea was originally designed with pistols and short barrel shotguns as their primary focus, and these style of weapons were added on later. So the pistol one's already been struck down by every court on the country. So somehow the argument here is, criminals, it makes it easier for them to hide their weapons, or, these are weapons of war. We get back to weapons of war and all that stuff. Thing is, there is no empirical evidence showing that a pistol brace associated with a rifle has been used in any sort of mass shooting or anything like that whatsoever. So they're creating this hysteria around it to justify what it is they're trying to do, which again is infringe on your Second Amendment rights and make it to where if you don't comply, you're a criminal. I feel like the math here doesn't really add up, that there's something here that they're not adding into this, because it should be a grandfathered in, okay, everyone from here forward. Why would 40 million lawful gun owners have to alter or destroy components on their weapons for no reason? It just doesn't pass, the logic test. And it kind of goes into the same thought that I have when it comes to short barrel rifles, suppressors, and, all of these sorts of, and full automatic, for instance, as well. Anyone who has shot a significant amount of full auto will tell you it's really good for making noise and keeping people's heads down. That's really about it. If you've got two people shooting at each other, and one is shooting on full auto, just dumping magazines, just firing them off as fast as he can, and the other guy is taking accurate aimed shots, the guy taking the accurate aimed shots is going to kill the other guy 10 times out of 10. Well, maybe not out of 10. Maybe the other guy gets lucky, just accuracy by volume once. But I think the thing that's really shocking about this is they don't have a plan for how to grandfather people in. It's do this or you're a felon. How is that okay? I mean, where is the outrage against the ATF other than from the NRA and the gun lobby? Where are regular Americans writing their congressman and saying, hey, I am law abiding. I mean, criminals are going to do what they're going to do. This is proven as a fact because, in New York and Chicago and California, you have some of the worst crime in America, and they, oddly enough, happen to also have the most stringent gun control legislation in place as well. So it's proven fact they're criminals because they don't follow the rules. So how is it that this magically is going to change that? So, I'm going to quote again from the NRA website here. While it is not the role of an administrative agency to add to a congressionally enacted statutory definition, doing so in such an arbitrary and nonsensical manner is especially damaging to the rule of law. Creating a firearm classification that is contingent on a firearm having a surface area. So now they're talking about, they actually are trying to define specifically what qualifies. The new standard seems clear. ATF will decide on a case-by-case basis whether a given firearm is subject to NFA, and American gun owners will face felony consequences at the whims of their bureaucratic decision-making. I agree 100%, which is odd because I don't normally agree with the NRA in a lot of cases because I think they're a little, but that's kind of the deal there. So, alrighty. Well, with that discussion being had, if you guys have questions or you want to talk about this completely unlawful way of enforcing gun laws, throw them in the comments. Send me an email. My email's at the bottom as well, and we can talk about these things and hash through them. We can talk about how, if you are an owner of one of these components, you can comply with this law without finding yourself in any really bad spots. So, that being said, I'm going to now talk to you guys about one of my favorite things that I found for home protection and storage of my firearms. So, in the state of Florida, firearms are not allowed to be left unattended with children in the house. So you got to lock them up every single night or every single time that you're not at home. But what do you do when you're laying in your bed and somebody starts to break in? Do you have the ability to gain access to your firearms in an easy way? Well, there are several companies that come up with solutions, and I'm going to post in the description links to these things. So the answer you're looking for and the answer that I found for you is this little guy right here. So what this is there are companies that make these super powerful magnets that clip directly to the slide of your pistol, some of them even for rifles and shotguns as well. And what you do, they come with a piece of metal that you mount to that is going to be simulated by my beautiful Gerber pry. And what you'll do is imagine that this is connected to the slide of a rifle. You take your piece of metal and drill it into the bottom of a desk, the back of an armoire, any place or next to a door where you think you would like to have a rifle or a pistol waiting for somebody in the event that they try to break into your house. So you've got your slide connected to your rifle, and you literally stick it right to it. And what's nice is when you want to get it off there, you've got the whole grip of the pistol or the rifle, and it will pop right off. So it's a great way to secure a weapon in a manner and location that if you need it, you can get to it quickly. So if somebody's breaking into your house, you don't want to be, rotating the dial on your old gun safe trying to figure out how to get it out of there. So I hope you guys are loving this content. If you have questions, go ahead and post them in the comment section. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead. There's going to be a little circle at the bottom down here with the picture of a helicopter in it. Click on that and subscribe to the channel, and it would really help me with making more content and kicking out stuff like this. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.